Hi, it's Ewan Ellery here making bonsai in Australia, and in this video I'm going to do some work on my first wisteria. So I'm not actually sure what variety of wisteria this is, just because it's got the little prickly bits in the edges of the leaf there. But yeah, so if you happen to know, then let me know in the comments. Initially I was considering leaving it for a little while just to grow a little bit more, get a bit more branching so I had more options to turn it into a bonsai. Yet, well, as you can see, I left it in my car for a little while and some of the leaves got a bit burnt, so I'm going to prune it back. May as well have a go at turning it into a bonsai now. So just gonna initially take it out of the pot and start working on it. So typically they're grown as rather large bonsai, just because you do need a little bit of size in them for the flowers to kind of grow down. So I will be keeping it kind of tall, and they also tend to flower better, or so I've heard, when they're a little bit root bound, which it seems this one definitely is. Yeah, so there's a thick roots going all the way up to the edge of the pot there. I'm pressing hard against it, which is why it was so hard to get it out. Now wisterias also, they like a lot of water apparently, so I've even seen it recommended that you put them in a that you water them, and through summer at least leave them in a bowl of water, just so they've got constant water supply there. And you can tend to identify that, or especially where a plant's been kind of underwatered, when the roots just all mass at the bottom of the pot, which is what appears to be the case here. It's just very dense mat at the bottom here, so struggling to even rinse that off, so just raking it out a little. Okay, so beginning to be able to see what we are working with there, and yeah, as I outlined before, very thick roots down the bottom and not much up the top, so I can start to work with it and then I'll clean it up further as we go. So from the onset, just getting rid of all of these roots from what will be the trunk. And all of the little fine roots and what's going to be the top of the exposed root ball. So I won't go too far down cutting this off, because basically because it's just so thick and so matted, and I've got a flat root plane here, but I want a lot more roots coming out in this area, so while this eventually I'll have exposed and more roots coming out kind of from there, for now I just want to plant it a little bit deeper than how I will in the long run, just to get those other roots that I want growing a little bit more opportunity. One of these bigger roots here which kind of comes up a little bit too high, and I think there's a couple of thick ones underneath it, so I'm actually going to get rid of that one. couple of nice thick ones that come out on the same plane as the others just below it. And got this one which it's kind of come out, and then it's got this really big knobulous portion of it there, so I'm going to want to cut that back. Just with the hopes that it will kind of flow down naturally. Just really, yeah, kind of where the root system has just hit the floor and then just been blocked. It's just done its own thing. Okay, and there's a big one up the top here that kind of comes out and does its own thing and doesn't quite sit on the same kind of plane as any of the others. I think it is a little bit of an eyesore, so I might just get rid of it, and yeah, just replacements will hopefully grow in with time. And it does just come out and then straight down because of the wall of the pot. So get rid of that. Not many feeders off that. Okay. So now I've kind of got to figure out the front for the tree now. Straight away, so there's a couple of these two branches. The positioning of them just isn't really going to work. One's just straight underneath the other, and they're kind of coming out in the same kind of direction. So I'm actually going to get rid of this top one, just because the flow of the trunk for the bottom one is much smoother, and the top one, just kind of moves around a little bit in a weird way. And given the kind of direction of the trunk, I think I'm actually going to go with that as the front for now. Because of the roots, it actually looks quite interesting from a number of different directions, but we'll go with that for now. So I'm just going to get rid of this. And I'm going to leave that one there. That one's small enough. I can bend that around into different positions with a bit of time. And I'll just cut the top off this for now, just so there's less waving around and I can figure out the rest. So I'm just going to put this into a pot. Now, because of the size of the root ball, I can't put it into the pot that I planned for it. This one will have to do. Just put in a bit of mesh. And the soil I'm using is, the foundation of it is my normal potting mix, which I've got a link to another video where I make that, which I'll include above, and then just mixed in with some of just a lot more organic mix. These ones like a fairly normal kind of substrate, and they're also they like a lot of moisture, so don't need to focus too much on the drainage. More organic mix in it. because of the movement, I'm actually going to have that as the front there, just so you can see the full movement in the trunk, and then with time I can move that back and yeah, basically have that offset the sway of the trunk going that way. Yeah, see, if I'd left that other root, it'd be sticking out way up here and then straight down, which wouldn't have looked very good. And I'll just put down a couple little bits of moss just so that can start to grow back. And particularly putting a bit just where I got rid of on top of where I got rid of that really noblest part of the root, because that's near the surface of the soil. And yeah, the moss just helps keep the moisture, stops it from escaping, so it should help that part establish more roots. Probably not a great deal need to do with this at this point in time. So I'll prune it back a little bit more flush where I pruned it back earlier. Yeah, and the branching is kind of okay at this point, so you know, a couple of different branches coming out at various points, and I do probably want it to maintain this kind of height. And yeah, these branches, they're quite small so far and they're just budding off, so kind of keen to let that growth establish, and then start developing some branch pads out here. And then see where I go with that little small one in future. So this is probably where I'll leave it for now. So yeah, obviously there's quite a lot of taper down, there's quite a lot of thickness in the trunk down the bottom, good bit of taper, so yeah, really at a point now where I can start to develop the branching up above, get all those pads going and establish it from there. So I will just quickly water this and then we'll be done. Okay, so I've now watered that, so yeah, that's the front there. Realistically, both sides serve quite well as a front, so yeah, quite happy with the outcome of this, especially given yeah, it was really only this that was above the soil when I got it, so I had no idea what I was working with. But yeah, so that's my first Wisteria Bonsai. Now, I do hope you enjoyed this video or took something from it. If you have, then please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to be notified of my future content as I release it. So look, thanks for your time today. Enjoy. Goodbye.